you know, his past, telling me about history in Houston. And the nigga also been telling me about business, like making sure I get my shit right, and telling me like he respect me for being a Carolina nigga and coming out all the way out here to Houston. He said that type of drive, that type of determination, bird, gonna put you on the next level. You know what I mean? He said that shit to me in my face. Said, you doing the right thing. You going places. You remind me of me when I was younger, when I was traveling all these different places, trying to get my shit out there. And I respected that, and he respected me. So after that day, man, we built a good relationship, me and Lil'Flip, you know what I mean? A real good relationship. We did, after that one video, we did an ass of records after that. I think we did about 10 records after that. 10 more records, you know what I mean? I left Houston that time, went back to the Carolina. Me and he, we chopped up the video, got that shit right. But within 3 weeks later, I came right back to Houston because of the way that nigga embraced me. And the nigga used to tell me, like, you need to pull up at the compound. Yeah, the compound was this big studio that they had, man. Like, this big studio. Like, the shit had 3 studios in one. You could record in this studio on this one side of the hall, record in this studio on the other side of the hall, or you can go in this other studio and mix. And they had a real record maker in that motherfucker. Like, the way you make a vinyl record was in that shit. And then you walk down the hall, they got rooms that you can do for photo shoots, and they got rooms that you can do for green screen and then videos. So like me and him, when I came to the compound, when I came up there 3 weeks later, he invited me to the compound and said, yo, I'm dropping a new album. You know what I mean? And you invited to the album release party. So I pulled up on him and I was like, damn, this shit nicer than I thought, man. Like when you pulled in the gate of the studio, like you couldn't even get in that bitch without a code. You had to park outside the building and tell somebody come out and punch in the code for you to open that shit up. You know what I mean? I did a lot of music with a lot of other artists there too. Like, you know what I mean? At the compound, I did shit with ESG there. I recorded shit with Kill Callion there. Everybody that's from Houston that's big, you know what I mean, go to the fucking compound, you know what I mean? Even Lil Wayne was there one week I was there. I didn't get to see him, but he was in the building. But anyway, let's get back to the point. The point was, like, when Flip brought me to the compound and showed me all this shit, the nigga gave me straight carte blanche. The nigga treated me mad good. Like, as soon as I walked in the door, nigga passing me the blunt. Nigga had like a whole cones. And it wasn't even blunts, it was joints. Like the ones you buy from the dispensary, a whole cones of them shit. Nigga passed me one. Nigga passed the niggas I was with one. And we was in there just chilling, smoking, drinking, you know what I mean? And I came through and I was like, man, you got all this shit in here, man. Let's film our next video that we do for some of these records that we recording in here, man. That green screen shit looking real nice. Like, I ain't really seen the whole shit where the whole room is a green screen. It ain't like nigga got the little green screen sheet up or nigga got one wall painted like some people do. But this nigga, they had the whole fucking room green. Like, a room that could fit like 10 cars in that bitch and maybe 100 people. That size room. So I was like, damn, all right, we gonna do this shit here. So the record we was working on that day, we started working on that song called Drippin' Sauce, you know what I mean? And I already had all my shit done. So when I came to the studio, we pulled up the record and I was like, yo, Flip, I want you to give him this shit. As soon as the shit came on, Flip was like, oh, yo, this the one right here, man. This the one right here. I'm fucking with this one tough. Like, this is the one. Bird, you got a hit with this one, bro. I'm on this shit. Right there in the studio. No pen, no paper, no nothing. Nigga went behind the mic and just kept on rapping until he finished the whole verse. Did like 4 bars, stop. Did another 4 bars, stop. Did another 4 bars, stop. And like that shit taught me a lot. Because he was like, man, you know, the shit you got in your mind that you gonna write down, you know what I mean? It's in your brain already. You're gonna say that shit to the beat the way that you was gonna do it naturally if you just go right to the mic and fuck the paper or the phone and just get right to the mic. And I learned that shit from him, yo. And I stopped writing since then. Like, I didn't write no more records ever since I bumped into Lil'Flip. And anybody that really know me, that recorded with me, work with me, you can ask them like that. Unless they capping, trying to make themselves feel better or trying to make themselves seem like I ain't what I is. Like I ain't the fucking truth. Man, I ain't wrote a fucking rap in like 2 years, bro. Like, wrote something down, all that shit come from just in my mind, it's in me. So I just do it. It's not on me, it's in me. So I could pull up anywhere, anytime, any place, and deliver a good record. And that's what Flip taught me. He was like, you gotta be ready. You gotta stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready if you stay ready. If the shit in you, you ain't gotta act like it. You ain't gotta write it down. Just do what you do naturally from the heart. And I respected that from that dude, man. That dude, he taught me a lot. Nigga had a lot of class, man. You know what I mean? A lot of class. And he was a hood nigga. Always smoking. But he cared about his community. He was always doing shit. You know what I mean? If he saw a bum, he would always give shit. You know what I mean? And like when I was there, he had like a whole bunch of handlers with him. The nigga had like, I say like 4 niggas around him. Like, nigga open his car door, nigga bringing the damn lean, one dude rolling the blunts. Like the nigga had the whole shit going. But he never acted on no Hollywood shit with me. Never. Not once since I met him. You know what I mean? I fuck with Lil'Flip for a lifetime just because I didn't know that he was that hood of a nigga and that real of a nigga. That day we was there, so I got off subject a little bit. Let me get back on point. The day we was there, we dropped the Drippin' Sauce record. We dropped that shit in the front of the studio. We went in the back of the studio into the other building, the other part of the building, and recorded the video for Drippin' Sauce. And right when we was done doing it, you know what I mean? This was around the time when I think the Astros was in the playoffs. And so in the middle of us filming the video, he was trying to make it to the Astros game. The Astros was in the playoffs. He was trying to make it to that game. So the Astros game was going on. But he said, man, I'm still going to stay and damn finish this video with you, Bird. I ain't going to rush out on you. I ain't going to give you no half-ass job. I'm going to give you the real best shit I can give you. My best performance, my best delivery. And I was like, I respect that. And then while we was chilling, he got a call from the news station. They wanted him to come down there and talk with the Exotic Pop brand. You know what I mean? Because if you don't know, Flip is a major investor in Exotic Pop. His partner, Charleston, they pretty much started that shit. Charleston started it. Flip pretty much bankrolled it. And then other people came in later and bankrolled it with him. But, you know what I mean? Flip was a key investor in Exotic Pop. And if you don't know about Exotic Pop, that means you late on the game, man. If you don't know about Exotic Pop, that means you late to the party. Exotic Pop blowing up major shit. They got Exotic Pop, Exotic Stacks. You know what I mean? It's big out there in Texas. It's big in fucking other places too. Memphis. It's big in Atlanta. You know what I mean? That shit big everywhere. But, you know what I mean? That nigga was saying, yeah, we doing a fundraiser for the Exotic Pop. They want to do it on the news. All these seniors that's graduating, all these black kids that's seniors that's graduating, that you know, might don't have all the money that they want, you know what I mean, when they start in their school next year or when they graduate. He going to give all them $1,000, all the seniors $1,000 through the Exotic Pop brand. Like him and Charleston both was donating to the kids. And I respected that shit. I was like, these niggas giving $1,000 to all the black kids that's graduating in the high school in Houston. You know what I mean? That was big to me, you know what I mean? I respect shit like that. And I was like, yeah, man, Flip, you a real dude, bro. I respect you. And all right, we finished doing the video. We smoked a blunt, and he was like, all right, bro, I'm going to go. I'm going to make it to this news station before 5. So he left. We just finished chopping the video, getting all the equipment together, and we left. And we got back to the crib, right? And I was chilling on the south side, you know what I mean, Houston, dead in Texas, you know what I mean? Definitely. So we at the crib, and we just chilling. You know what I mean? And I watching the TV, and next thing I know, I see the news with a nigga on there, and they talked about that shit. And that shit made me feel even better because a lot of people be capping, like they be this and that, you know what I mean? Especially when you come to this city to do a video with them, you know what I mean? They be acting like they got this going on, trying to rush you off and damn, rush you off so they can hurry to get to the next. But he wasn't doing that shit. The nigga was keeping it 100. So we saw the shit on news live myself, them doing that shit, you know, giving money to the kids through the Exotic Pop company. You know what I mean? That shit was major. And they all the newspaper really wanted to do was just talk to him. The guys from Exotic Pop, they ain't really known and famous as Lil'Flip is. Charleston and them dudes, they get money, but Flip more, you know, world nationally known. So they talked to Flip, you know what I mean? And that nigga did it like a real G, man. And I said, that's respectable. So when 3 days later, I got up with him again, and we went back to the studio and dropped some more shit, you know what I mean? I think that night we dropped a song called Gorilla Glue and Mango. You know what I mean? That shit was hard. You know what I mean? We ain't shoot a video to that one, but that one's out there for everybody to see. You know what I mean? So me and Flip just kept on building rapport, man. And he was a good dude. And he wasn't on no Hollywood shit. He wasn't on no taxing niggas for money shit. Because he kind of believed in a nigga. Like, he really believed in a nigga. He made me believe in myself more. Like, every time I hung around him and talked with him, when I went back to the Carolina, you know what I mean, I felt like I was ahead of the game with everybody else. Because I already had more insight than I begun with, you know what I mean? I had insight from Pat, but Flip gave me more insight to the business side and moving like a man. Because, you know, Pat, at that time when I was hanging around him, he was still on some hood nigga shit. You know what I mean? He was doing his money, getting his money and doing his business, but Flip wasn't on no hood nigga shit. He been on some grown man business shit and on some damn growth and development for black people type shit. And, you know what I mean? When I was talking to him, the next day we got together and did the Gorilla Mango, the Gorilla Glue and Mango track. He was telling me about his family, you know, they used to be Black Panthers. So he said his uncles and shit, they were Black Panthers. So he grew up knowing about knowledge himself, getting taught certain shit that most people think that you got to grow up on the East Coast to kind of learn and have that kind of, to be cut from that cloth and have that kind of mentality. But that's not true, man. In Texas, them niggas was building that shit like in Texas, you know what I mean? Because Texas real close to California. So, you know what I mean? They had their own chapter of Muslims out there in Texas back in the day. And, you know what I mean? Flip family was in that shit. So Flip was very big on his people, his family, the black people, black and brown people, and us helping each other, you know what I mean? When I say that black and brown people shit, that don't mean that he ain't got love for white people, because Flip got mad white friends around, mad white people that he do business with, mad white people that he recommend me do business with, white people that really helped him. And knowing that some of them will help you more than some of us will help us. You know, they'll help you more times than a black person will help you a lot of times, because a lot of black people don't have knowledge yourself. But when you get knowledge yourself, like Flip, like when you get the knowledge and the wisdom, it's your duty to help one, you know, reach one, teach one. It's your duty that when you step up and you up, you got to reach your hand back and pull another brother up. That's your duty. And Flip was on that type of time. He was on that type of shit, on that type of knowledge and on that type of game. So that's why a lot of people ask me why I fuck with Lil'Flip so hard while I was in Texas all the time, fucking with Lil'Flip, doing all my videos, doing nothing but features with Lil'Flip. At one time, a whole couple months, the only thing I did was records with him. You know what I mean? I even brought him and other rappers together from Houston that never worked together. But we're going to say that for another story. And that's going to be the Killer Calleon story. But we're going to say that for another one. But, yeah, man, Flip was a real dude, one of the realest niggas in the game. Fuck that beef with T.I., that T.I. Lil'Flip, that dumb shit. I don't know T.I. personally, and I don't know what T.I. done for his community. But from what I hear, I know that T.I. is a good dude, too. So, you know, shouts out to T.I. That's why I say, like, when I was around Lil'Flip, you know, I had to ask him about that shit. And he never really had no bad words to say about T.I. He never was a hater towards T.I. He just said they bump heads for a small reason back in the day. And this, that, and the third happened. When T.I. came out to Houston, this, that, and the third happened. I ain't gonna put that shit out there on the street or on YouTube, because T.I. might be offended by the shit that I heard would really happen in Houston when he went down there. But, you know what I mean? It's all good, man. Shout out to Lil'Flip. And shout out to T.I. But Lil'Flip is my dude. I consider him a real friend and a real nigga. A real nigga from the street, from the bottom that came up. Alright, it's your boy, K Bird, signing out. This was another edition of Facts, Not Fiction. Pay attention. I'm out.